What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to Comic Breakdown. In this video, we are jumping into Bishop War College issue number 1, with Bishop now being Captain Commander of Krakoa's military defenses. He recently proposed a training program, war games for younger mutants to sharpen their offensive and defensive capabilities. And while this is supposed to be an exercise, a safe space to try new strategies, to forge new connections, the war games are about to get real. Written by J. Holtham. Penciler is Sean Hill. The inker is Victor Nava with Roberto Poggi. Make sure you guys have subscribed to the channel. Make sure that you like this video. And with that being said, let's dive into this breakdown. Alright gang, so as we pick up with this issue, we have the Captain Commander who is giving orders, shouting, screaming at the top of his lungs. While they say this may have been a safe space, this is seeming more like boot camp. As these young mutants train, we see them one at a time, having Aura Charles' flight and psionic energy powers. There is armor, psionic exoskeleton armor, Cam Long enhanced senses and reflexes, Surge electrical absorption powers, and then of course Amass, a relatively new mutant that has come from the way past millions of years ago in the mutant society that existed known as Threshold. If you want to learn more about them, you're gonna have to go check out the Marauders. But we have our mutants training with great effort, over and over and over again. That is when Cam Long says timeout, that they have been going at this all day, that they need a break. When Bishop tells them again, they decide that they're done, that they have been doing this all day and they're not going any further. Now Bishop trying to do the whole drill sergeant thing, saying that when the time comes, Orcus isn't going to take it easy on you. They're not going to give you a break. When they come to burn this place down, there will be no timeouts. And the only one that kind of agrees with him is Amass. But Amass comes from Threshold. They were at constant war. He understands fully what it means to have you guys completely wiped out. But as all of these teens, they take off, this is when Dani Moonstar comes out of the woods. She had been eavesdropping and she goes on to say that Surge has a point. But Bishop always expected some kind of whining. He does believe that they're gonna come back. That's when Moonstar really starts to lay into him, letting him know that these young mutants, they're mad, they're annoyed, but Bishop really doesn't care. This is when Dani says that she checked with all of the other war captains. They all had a discussion, and they think that he is taking this too far, that this has gone on long enough. He has been training these kids for weeks. He gets one more day with the group, and then it is time to move on. As the tensions get a little bit high, Dani Moonstar goes on to say that she's not gonna be bullied by him, and this stops Bishop in his tracks because he asks if he is being a bully, not recognizing that he was in fact being one, and he doesn't want to be portrayed in that light. And so Bishop goes and he sits on the beach, thinking to himself that there's just not enough time. For Bishop, this is hard to swallow. He comes from a future where they were hunted on the daily. He wants to prevent that from happening. Sometimes this gets the better of him. Sometimes he only thinks about the mission. But he knows that these young mutants need more time. When Bishop finally does leave the beach, what we see are the von Strucker twins, the children of Baron von Strucker, the white supremacist Nazi von Struckers, the ones that also happen to be mutants. But they have made their way on the island, and they are here for something. That is where we see Aura and Cam Long, the two of them discussing how this is just so difficult, how Bishop isn't listening to them, he's being too hard, so on and so forth. Really, they're just venting to each other. But Aura also lets it be known that someone eventually is going to come. They always do. While Bishop is kinda being a jerk, they also need somebody like him. They need the protection. They all need to protect one another. That is what takes us to Armor and Amass. The two of them sitting down just having conversation. What we are seeing is those bonds being forged. The team is slowly coming together, even if it is them coming together because they don't like Bishop. But this is where we pick up with Bishop and Tempo. Bishop has come to ask for a favor, and while she doesn't necessarily want to do this, she is interested in seeing how this will work. Not sure how long she'll be able to hold it for. It is going to be something very unique when we do see it. Picking up the next day in the early morning, we have Bishop, who is waking up from a nightmare, surrounded by skulls, surrounded by death. He fears the future that is going to come. It haunts him every single night. He is dedicated in doing what he has to do to save Krakoa, no matter what the cost. This is what takes us to the beach. Our 5 young mutants, they are ready to go out on their last mission, their last training exercise. He goes on to tell them that he comes from a future where mutants are hunted, they are murdered, they are exterminated. Being a mutant, being alive, was a constant fight. He came here to keep that from happening. Going on to say that if he is harsh, if he pushes too hard, if he drives them crazy, it's because he wants them to live. He is making sure that that happens. That is what takes us deep into the roots of Krakoa, a labyrinth, a maze that is deep underground. This goes all the way down to the very bedrock of the ocean. As our young mutants make some Luke Skywalker and D&D jokes, the first thing they come across is Wrong Slide. Sucker punching some of them, catching them by surprise. They say that this wasn't fair, of course Bishop saying that it's never going to be fair. That is when Tempo steps out. Using her powers, we see her create a giant bubble around all of them. She has created a time bubble. These few seconds, they're going to loop and fold in on themselves, which means in this bubble, time continuously repeats itself. And so he is going to train them until they cannot move. They gave him one more day. He found a way around that. He can sit in this time bubble forever. As our young mutants are fighting against Wrong Slide, that is when there is a giant explosion. We see the Nazi twins come in, and they have Orcus along with them. Bishop knows exactly who the Fenris twins are. Recognizing who is here, the twins and Orcus, he tells all of the young mutants to run. As the Orcus machine shoots out Blight Swill, a liquid that temporarily takes away mutant abilities. Bishop and Tempo doing what they can to hold them off while the kids make their escape. But then there is some kind of energy. Not really sure what this is, but Tempo is no longer in control. The two of them get caught up and there is a flash and then they are gone. All of the young mutants had been hit with the Blight Spill. All of them are powerless. Now they are on a mad dash to get to the surface and let somebody know what is going on down here. That they are being attacked from beneath. We have Bishop, who is waking up after everything that happened. He sits up and what he sees is a black Cyclops and a black Rogue. Not really sure where he is or what is going on. That will be the end of this issue. So let me know what you guys think down in the comments. So far, this is definitely off to a good start. I am a fan of anything Bishop related, and I think Bishop is doing the right thing. No, a lot of people are telling him that he's going too hard on these kids, but at the end of the day, he needs to be. Because what happened, what he thought would happen, it literally did. Orcus came in from underneath, attacked these kids, and they were thrown off. Even Bishop was thrown off. But they weren't ready to fight this. They were not prepared enough. That is why he told them to run. They were in no position to fight against the twins and Orcus, along with power dampening technology. And at the ending there, what it looks like is we are about to get an all-black X-Men team. Assuming that Marvel is doing this for Black History Month. It's definitely an interesting way to go about this. I personally would have liked some of the mutants on Krakoa that are black to really get their opportunity to get the spotlight. There are a lot of amazing characters out there, and I don't necessarily feel like we needed to take the route of making just everybody black and putting Bishop in this to lead this team and fight against whatever it is they're going to be going up against. I think it would have been a much cooler idea if we had brought in some other individuals. If we had a team up of like Storm, of Bishop, maybe throw some Sync in there. We got a bunch of characters that we could really utilize that are here on Krakoa, that I don't feel like we needed to leave Krakoa to really find those characters, to give them their spotlight. But like I said, it's an interesting way to go about it. I am here for it. I want to see what they're gonna do. It could be very promising. Regardless, I've been looking forward to War College for a while, and I'm excited to see how Bishop can grow as a character, as a leader, as a mentor with all of this going on. I think we're going to see some great character growth, not only from Amass and all of the others, but also Bishop as well. But let me know your thoughts, let me know your theories, if you would like to get completely caught up on everything that has been going on with the X-Men. Be sure to check out all the links in my descriptions, all my playlists that will get you completely caught up on everything going on with these stories. If you would like to support the channel, you can always do so by joining the channel membership, much like Patreon, having 5 different tiers. From $1 to $50, from loyalty badges to getting free comics every single month. Not only does this help out the channel tremendously, but you are getting tons of perks in the process. Now, if you are unable to do any of that, do me a favor, subscribe to the channel, like this video, hit that notification bell, and with that being said, until the next breakdown.